Well, hi there. I'm Diana Montford, the world's first transgender television journalist. Born male, became female. I always have to make that clear. Everyone says, well, which direction are you going in? I'm non-binary. That solves the problem, okay? But anyway, my guest is New York politician and author, Ms. Esther Yang, who's going to talk to us about, well, New York politics and does politics have to be so dirty? Esther and I say no. Most other people say yes. But we're going to discuss it and see what's what. Anyway, my guest, the beautiful and brilliant Ms. Esther Yang.
Oh, thank you so much, Diane. I think you're beautiful.
I think you're beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So anyway, and everybody thinks you're beautiful. They always talk about that, how gorgeous you are.
Thank you.
So now you're running for district leader.
Yes.
What exactly is a district leader and what does she do?
Well, district leader is an unpaid elected official. So each assembly, it depends. Sometimes they split into three. Mm-hmm. Our assembly, 76 Assembly or Upper East Side, is divided into two. So there's a Part A and there's a Part B. Mm-hmm. And then when there's a Part A, there's a male district leader and there's a female district leader. So I'm running for the female district leader in the Part A, mm-hmm. which is run from East 78 to 61st, 3rd Avenue to the river, and Roosevelt Island. And I'm running because, you know, we have 10 elected officials in my district, and there's not a single person of color.
Which is outrageous and disgraceful.
Outrageous, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, we are like 8.1 million in New York City,
right.
And the minority are the majority.
Hello.
You know,
yes.
So.
Donald Trump, are you listening? Wherever you are, yeah.
Because I think when we have, in my opinion, of course, when we have one race, we get into trouble, you know? And
yeah,
I think it's
sure.
really important that people need to be represented.
I went to school from the 1st to the 4th grade in your district, Saint Jean Baptiste.
Yes.
And we had a lot of diversity there. And this was like 55 years ago.
Right.
Why don't we have diversity in politics today, you know?
No, yeah, because it's important. Because if we don't have one, our policy is not going to be changed, especially now with the increase of the AAPI violence, right? And I know the trans community really know this really well.
Yes,
because
indeed.
You guys got affected.
Oh,
nobody pay attention because they figure like, oh, it's only trans community.
Exactly.
Oh, it's only Asian communities. Nobody care. So the only way that it's going to work if we all run for office.
Exactly, and refuse to take the crap.
Right, to refuse to budge.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing. And unfortunately, so all of us, I think we need to put like trans into the pipeline.
Thank you, yes.
And we can support them. And we need to put the Asian into the pipeline or any persons of color, whatever, because so that it's just not.
Now, you know, and I know that until Trump started calling it the Kung flu and the China virus.
Right.
People of all races admired the Asian race and said they were so intelligent and hardworking, and they invented paper, tea, silk, spaghetti, all sorts of wonderful things.
Right.
And now because of that Philistine Trump and his extraordinary malicious vulgarity, now innocent and often senior citizen Asian people who have nothing to do with the virus, who have lived here forever, were born here, who have absolutely nothing to do, have never seen Wuhan, are being murdered and injured and maimed.
Right.
And that is unacceptable.
Right. I think it's because that's what it's very important, right? It's from the starting with the template. People keep telling me, well, you know what? He's not longer a president. But I'm concerned about the 70 million people that voted for him.
Which is truly horrific.
Yeah. And I think all of us, so, you know, I want to come to the show because, one, we all need to register to vote. And frankly, I don't really care if they're whatever party, but we do, even though I'm a Democrat, but I think it's very important that people register to vote.
That they be engaged with the political process.
But people do become civic engaged, right? Like what you said. And I think, but people need to be civic engaged but kind. We don't have to be mean. Politics do not have to be dirty. I think we all need to be mindful about that. And I think because I'm a yoga teacher, a meditation teacher, but I think it's very important that we don't have to be malicious because as a leader, we create that template. And I think people need to understand that, your words, your thoughts, your behavior has an impact, whether it's unconscious bias or not.
Well, politics is a very negative field. It can be. And it doesn't have to be. And have always been people who are not negative about it, but for some reason, the people like, and I use the term people loosely, like Trump and name someone, I don't know, Giuliani, and these people are evil, and they bring that evil to politics, and they lower the tone, and others, maybe more evolved souls, have to stoop to conquer when dealing with these monsters.
Right. And I think that their mentality is that they win at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is that with my team, I tell them that we want to win ethically, morally, and legally.
Exactly.
We want to have like heart-to-heart connection. I want people to feel good when they vote for me. They're part of history in the making, right? Because I will be the first Asian
Exactly.
in the district. So I want them to feel good that, hey, you're part of history, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. And
I think I'm the first Latina trans person to be in the Democratic County
Right.
Committee and the judicial delegate.
Right.
And it's important that we stand up and be counted.
Right. And also, but I don't appreciate, like, for example, that we talked about this before, that how you're being window dressed. Like, I don't appreciate being window dressed as well. Because when the position was open, they, it was like they gave it to somebody else who's not persons of color. And I thought, I don't have to run for office, but give it to a Latina or African American,
Someone.
or an Asian, anyone else.
Anyone else.
But the deal-
I once said
yeah.
something, and I got into terrible trouble. I was at the...
Not the first time you got in trouble.
no, it's not. I was at the Stonewall Dems,
Yeah.
and Margarita Lopez was running for borough president.
Yes.
But they were ignoring her. And they had all these white men up. And I said, excuse me, could we possibly entertain the thought of having someone other than a white man
Right.
run for elected office?
Right.
Well, you would have thought I'd said, kill all the men or something. They were furious with me. Absolutely furious with me.
And Margarita Lopez was fantastic.
Yes, she was.
She really, really
She really
worked hard.
was. And she
the
did
same
a lot
thing
of
with
good.
like, Rosie Mendez.
Oh, yeah? Oh, she was great, yes.
Rosie was a chief of staff. They were
Yes,
fantastic.
yes. And then she, of course, became city council person.
Yes. And like we've been around the block. So
Yes.
to us, it's like, hello, give somebody an opportunity.
Right.
And, even with when I was running and they said, no, Esther, we love you. But I said, okay, then give me the positions
Right.
or at least endorse me. No, and they endorsed somebody else, and which they said, it's nothing personal. I said,
No, it's completely personal. It
oh,
couldn't be more
exactly.
personal.
Exactly.
How can it not be personal?
Exactly. And then, but they want my money, they want my
Uh-huh.
time.
And they want you to show up to show how liberal they are.
That's right. But the same thing, like, because they had me, and I was the board, and I was one of the founding member for the club. And they said, oh, you can't say that. I said, what do you mean I cannot say that? I said, that is the truth. I was one of the founding member.
For freedoms?
Yeah.
I think I was too.
Yeah, we were the 25.
Yeah.
And I said, and you guys made a deal behind closed door. And they said, no, we opened up to the board.
No, they did. They did.
That's right. That's exactly what they did.
They did.
And they said they made a deal, and they said that's part of the board, and they were not going to give it to somebody else opening up to the club members. They were just going to close it, and they gave it. So I said, well, because I said about the male and female, right? I said, why are we taking the male seat and giving up the female? Because as a feminist, that doesn't look kosher.
Exactly.
And they don't want me to talk about it. They said, you can't say that. I said, why can't I say?
What happens if you say it?
Yeah,
Boom.
exactly,
The
like-
world is still spinning.
Like you and Margarita Lopez, right? What happened? Because, where does your First Amendment begins and mine ends? That's what I told them.
Well, we're not as human as they are. You have to know that we're only 3/5 human. Remember this. They're completely human, and we are the aberrations, the hybrids, the not quite as good as they are.
So I got into the board.
In spite of the fact that Asians basically invented civilization.
Oh, thank you.
But
Thank
it's
you.
true.
Thank you. So I got into the board member. That's why I said to them, I said, well, you're just window dressing me. And they said, no, you should not bring your race and this.
They always say that. They always say, oh, you're playing the race card. Or you're playing the tranny card.
Exactly.
Well, I have no other card to play because you've taken all my other cards away. You know?
Exactly. And they refused. And I said, look, I gave them the opportunity. And because I gave them the opportunity and I said, look, do the right thing. And they wouldn't. And they said, no, we already made the deal. We can't do it. We don't want a primary. And I said, you know what? Then I'll bring a primary for you. And they said, you can always change. I just feel that you can always give someone an opportunity. Yeah. That's number one. Yeah. You can always be kind, right? You can always like do something. But for them, the refusal of it drives me crazy. And I said to them, Japanese internment was once legal.
Hello.
Like lynching was once legal.
Yes.
And they changed that. So you're telling me that you guys made a deal in a closed room and then brought it to the board and trying to close that deal and then do not want to open it up to the African American, Latino, or Asian members and think that now they're gaslighting me. Not only did they window dress me, they gaslighting me.
Esther, you're paranoid. We love you. We love you.
That's right. And this is what I think, like the trans community feel about this all the time. You're just being too sensitive. They didn't mean it that way.
Do you know how lucky? Listen, Melissa Sklarz and I are the only two political trans women in New York.
Right.
And we are lucky. They treat us like crap, and we are lucky to be treated like crap by these people because at least they're noticing us. Because the others aren't even treated like crap, So, I mean, it's like, this is ridiculous.
But you understand this because you've been in this, and you know, and you've been like doing this.
Pull up your pants. It's too late to save your shoes. Yes, I've been in this.
You've been in it, and you get it. And like, unless you're in it, and then they get mad, they said like, no, this has nothing to do with race. I said, you damn right it is. What other way to look at it? So I finally just said, you know what? Whatever your favorite candidate is, I'll do a primary. Because I just feel like not only for me, but for the younger generation. Because I need people to see people like me to be in office.
Exactly.
Right? Like John Lee was the first city council, like long time. John Lee was the first senator, Congresswoman Grace Meng, who they all endorsed me, of course, because I've been friends for forever.
Right.
Congresswoman Grace Meng, the first Congress. I just feel like it should not be this long to be this way.
I was a child in the 60s. I was born in 1956, if you're interested. I'm ancient. But I mean, my point is this. In the 60s, we never dreamed that 50 years hence, the world would still be, and in some ways be worse than it was then. We thought we'd be living in a utopia, a post-racial utopia, and we don't.
I think a lot of it, to be honest with you, and this is part of it, is my fault. I feel like I will take some of the blame. I feel that I should have run a city council maybe 8 years ago. But I was thinking like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to fight with my friends, But I think going
Are they your friends?
Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
But
they don't mind fighting with you.
No, right, exactly. And that's, I think, my own mentality. And where what you talk about, like briefly before, is like, I'm not your model minority. And I think like from now on going forward, I want to teach the younger kids, my students, or anyone else, and said, no, you claim your spot. You don't claim your spot, they'll claim it for you.
Yes.
And if they're not for you, they'll be against you. And that's clearly, in my own club, I said, oh my gosh, for all the money that I put into them, the time, that green petition that you have to collect signature.
Yes, I remember it. Yes.
Exactly. Been like begging in the cold, in the winter, and whatever.
And people walking right by you or.
Right. And looking at you, think like you all have like
some
three
crazy
heads.
Homeless lady, yeah.
So I think like going forward, I think, and you do this. I mean, you need to support young leaders, in the trans community. And I know for me, I'm going to make sure that I'll support in the Asian community to do this. Because I know like the trans community, when the Asian got increased for the violence, you guys get this.
Yes.
And the rest of the people don't get because they're just marginalized, you guys, right? You're just marginalized. And like what it's like to be so... I'm done. I'm running, and I make sure I'm going to win it. I'm going to talk to voters and really getting involved because I've been a community organizer for 20 years. I created a bully-free zone for the public school. I work behind the scenes all the time. Well, no more of that. I'm going to be front and center.
You have to be. It's the only way.
Yeah, because if not, they'll just say, "Oh, Esther, just be quiet. We love you." They just gaslight and window dress me. That's it. It looks good.
Sweetheart, go make us a nice pot of coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks good because the board members has Asian now, and not anymore. I refuse to be part of their window dressing and gaslighting.
Well, there's another Asian lady in the For Freedoms, and I get the feeling that she is very much, now she's wonderful, and she heads committees and all that. But I always get the feeling that she's being used,
Right?
Trisha Shimamura.
Yeah,
That's the one.
yeah.
I get the feeling she's being used. Like, here's our Asian.
Right.
Here's our tranny.
Yeah. Like your picture were taken and then you were being used for everybody else because they said, "Oh, we took a picture with the trans community." So the leader.
There's a certain politician, I told you about this.
Right, I know.
He talked me, there's a certain politician who's running for mayor, not Andrew Yang, someone else, no names mentioned. We were at a holiday party 2 years ago, For Freedom's party. He saw me, screamed across the room, "Diana, come here, come here, come here." Okay. I thought, is he drunk? What's going on? Anyway, he said, "Oh, I want to take a picture of you." So we took pictures together, fine. 2 years later, he's using it in his publicity to show how trans-friendly the guy is. Well, excuse me, I mean, why didn't you ask me, can I use your picture or will you endorse me? I did not endorse him, by the way. And I mean, it looks as though I did because he's using my picture.
Right, because he's a public official and he's doing this, and this is what I think at the end of the day, Diana. I think you and me feel the same way. Is that people just use us and then spit us out, and then don't care about the community, don't care about no one haven't even called me. I mean. Well, that's not true. Somebody from the outside called me and just said, "Hey, Astro, are you okay? What can we do for the Asian community?"
Good.
That one person, but that person was not in the club. But no one.
Who was it?
She's actually a judge.
Do you want to name her?
No, but she texted me and said, I mean, I've known her when she was an attorney, obviously.
Right.
She just texted me and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that we love you in this corner. We just want to make sure you're okay. We want to make sure you're safe. Let me know if there's anything that I can do for you." And I thought,
I love it when people say that, but okay, like clean my bathroom. What are you going to do for me? I mean, what do they mean by that?
but the fact that they at least offer, I can't say about the rest of the people that offer. I have like another judge who's like really, really gung-ho. He's running for Supreme Court and the same thing. He's always checking in on me, making sure that.
Great.
Making sure
Nobody
I'm okay.
checks in on me. That's great.
Just to make sure that I'm okay, especially make sure you come home safe.
That's sweet.
That's really nice. But I can't say about the people that we've given money to, time and everything else would do the same thing. And that's, I think,
I didn't hear from them when they want to be on my show. They call me and they say, "Oh, can I be on your show?" No, really. They do. And there's one who's running for quite a high office who said, "Can I be on your show?" Yeah, well, I haven't had him on this time because it's a conflict of interest because I'm supporting someone else.
But you haven't said to him and said, "Yeah, what are you going to do with for my community?"
Well, he does stuff.
Oh, good.
He's not bad,
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so that's okay.
That's really fantastic.
Yeah.
So district leader, it's an unpaid elected official.
Why do you want it? If it's so much work, and I know how much work it is, and you get nothing in return, just used and people bang on your door. "Can I have a petition? Do you have a pen?" I mean, why do you want it?
Because, again, a person of color needs to be an elected official in my district.
Yeah, but you're sort of ready for city council.
Yes.
The fact that you're being a district leader sort of beneath you, frankly.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you. Yeah, but I still think that somebody need to step up. And again, that's part of me constantly thinking I'm just a yoga teacher, meditation teacher, community organizer behind the
published
scene. Published author. So I'm going to just be
only that. Only,
a second degree black
it
belt.
would be nice if you did something with your life,
An Asian overachiever,
There you
typical, typical. But I just decided that I'm going to be the district leader. And then if there's another seat open, someday, somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go after it.
You should.
Yeah, I'm not going to be like, you know,
Self-effacing. Forget
right.
that.
That's it. I'm just going to go out, and it really what was happening with my own club really awakened me.
Yeah.
And so now I look at them differently, and I thought, you're not my friend. And some of them still call me, Esther, we're friends. I said, my friends don't do this.
I know a woman who was a member of the Stonewall Dams. Her name
Right.
was Yetta Kurland. She ran for city council.
I know.
And
Yetta.
she was on the board,
Yeah.
and she gave everything she had to give to this club. And they turned right around and they supported someone else, a man, for city council. And not surprisingly, she felt totally betrayed and walked away. And they were that surprised. Like, well, what's wrong? I mean,
I love
that's...
Yetta, by the way.
I do too.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yes, she is. And I love Corey Johnson, too. I think he's great. But I don't think that, I mean, oh, by the way, Corey is 1/4 Asian. Did you know that?
Yes, I know
Yes.
Corey.
So, I mean, they treat people very badly, female people, and reasonable facsimiles.
Yeah.
They treat female people very badly, you know?
Yeah, and they need to like be awakened for that.
Yeah.
Because they think like, again, if we mention something, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of email and texts about this by saying like, how could you say that? You know, like that is not true. Well, that's my truth.
Yeah.
You know, you can say anything you want, but that's my truth. That there was a seat open and you didn't support me. You support someone else, which is okay. I get it. But that will wake me up and say like, all right, I have to choose my friends wisely again
yes,
next time. And I'm going to put my resources, my contact to somebody that will support us.
Yes.
You know, because the trans community is important to me, the LGBTQ is important to me, the Asian community, any community is important to me. When you start sliding and you don't even see there's something wrong, there's a huge problem.
Well, we only live in a post-racial world when they want us to do for them.
Right.
When we say, but, you know, I'm Asian or I'm Spanish or something, they say, oh, we don't even notice that, you know? And it's bullshit.
Exactly.
It's just plain old bullshit.
That's just they're back to window dressing and gaslighting. And if we share to them, and I share my heart out, and I said, look, what you guys doing is not okay. Don't ever march with me with Black Lives Matter because you just don't get it then, you know? Or don't march with me being at the woman march. You guys don't get it. You have no idea what it means, like the systematic like racism. Yeah. Right? The reason why African Americans don't make that much money is because, really, you're not giving the opportunity to the African American or the women.
Starting in day one, the grammar schools aren't nearly as good as the white people grammar schools. Right. Just getting hot water in the tub to get ready for school, right. Just having a roof over your head.
Right.
If you're a person of color, all this is. Meanwhile, the young princes and princesses, oh, mommy, the teacher wasn't nice to me today. Right. I don't think we should pay her any more tuition.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can see the distinct difference, right?
Yeah.
And that's really, and people still don't want to face it. And then we have this bias training so that people want to do, like now we do bias training. But I think they all need to do their own soul searching.
That's all on the surface, bias training. It's all, they're still thinking what they're thinking.
Right.
You know, but I'd better be nice to this fucking tranny, because otherwise she can get my ass put in jail. So that's bias training, you know? Let's face it, you know?
So like I said, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of email and text, whatever it is. They said you should not be saying what you said.
And my language, folks, it's dirty, damn it. Yes.
But the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
And they saying like, well, I can say anything that I want. That's just when I'm always telling you, well, yeah, of course, but then where does your First Amendment begins and mine ends? Like, just because you say it doesn't mean that it's good and it's real and it's kosher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, people say this all the time. Like, oh, it's freedom of press. Like, you know, like the previous administration said that, right? It's freedom of press. I can say it. Let me tell you, that riot on January 6th, if that's you and me, we would have been shot dead, gone forever.
Please. Oh, please. Or in jail forever.
Right, forever, for life.
Yes.
You know,
and then
I mean,
some.
I'm watching on TV. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening?
But they're white yahoos, so they're on the side of the red, white, and blue.
It's crazy.
Yes.
And I couldn't believe.
And they were incited by Trump and Giuliani.
Right. And you know, Unfortunately, his son's running for governor. Running,
A 35-year-old Giuliani. That's
Right.
a horrific prospect.
you know,
He's one of the people who's, oh, Mommy, I don't want to go to school today. There's something good on television. You know, that's who he is, you know?
No, I just can't. I mean, one is bad enough, but two is like
No.
challenging.
One was too awful.
Yeah. What do you think of like the Stonewall with Andrew Yang?
What do you mean?
Like, because I know the Stonewall was really hard on Andrew Yang, and I understand.
I don't understand. Why were they hard on him?
I think they didn't endorse Andrew.
Well, they may yet, because they're having, I believe, oh, no, you're right. They decided to stick with their original candidate, whose name shall be nameless.
Nameless, which is I disagree with that. With the I personally like Andrew Yang because one, he's going to be the first Asian mayor.
Well, now, I should tell people that we are shooting this on Thursday, May 20th, so we have no idea who will be mayor or who will win the primary, but we all have our favorites, and as you know, Andrew Yang is leading in the polls, neck and neck with Eric Adams, I believe, as we film this.
Yeah, and early voting is June 12th.
Yes, early voting is June 12th, and the primary is June 22nd. Don't forget it.
So it's June 12th to June 20th, and if you're not sure where you need to vote, you can actually
Yeah,
find
but this will air after the primary, so it's...
No, you're airing May 20th, right?
No, this is May 20th. We don't know.
Oh, you're airing
This won't
after
air
the
until
primary.
after the primary.
Oh, I see.
We already have the schedule for that time.
Yeah, so, I mean, Andrew might have a runoff. Andrew might not win, but whatever it is,
But he's a good person.
he's a good person.
And in politics, that's not necessarily a plus. But anyway. So
true.
anyway, my guest has been Ms. Esther Yang, who, as we film this, is running for district leader in the 76th district.
Part A.
Part A. She is a great gal. I've known her forever. She's really nice, really, really smart. She's a published author, and she is brilliant. And I hope you voted for her and got her into where she deserves to be, which is president.
Thank you.
District leader will do for the time being. I'm Diana Montford. This has been the Diana Montford Show. Hey, even if no one else loves you, even if you're a politician, I love you. Well, maybe not if you're a politician. But anyway, I love you, and be good and take care of yourself and vote. For God's sake, vote. It's the only way to change things.
Yep.
Love you a lot. See you next time. Bye. But yeah, I mean...